Yo, test 1 2. Let me check all the audio. It's been 2 weeks since we streamed. What's up, guys? Looking good. What's up, Nexus? What's up, Mally and Mim? How you guys doing? If Mally's logging in this early for a stream, we need to schedule a second interview with him. But let me know if everything sounds good. Give it I don't want to do the audio because we're trying to we're around the copyright strikes. But anyway, welcome to the Weekly Whale Watch. This is the Rivians and Rainbows episode. Didn't really have a good reason to use that. I just like the name. Especially with all the Rivian memes we've been doing with Jintao and Doppel and everyone else. And I have some exciting Rivian news at the end of the stream. It's one of the last slides, but stay tuned. Hope you guys are doing well. And per the usual, this stream is intended for educational purposes only, not intended to be used as financial advice. Website is getting updated if you hadn't noticed. We now have the Mally pivots listed here, and we've updated the Coinbase versus Binance Premium stuff. You're going to see the videos get updated shortly as well, and then get the descriptions of some of the other stuff going. And then I'm going to try to update the Wikipedia Gitbook thing and get it into the webpage, but we'll see where that goes. But hope you guys are doing well, and give me a confirmation the mics and everything sound all right. It looks like it is on my end, but I always want to make sure before I stream because, believe it or not, I have done a 40-minute tutorial before with no audio being recorded, so that was fun. But man, we got a lot of people watching from X already. 200, damn. Okay, let's get started though. Big news. If you guys didn't know, Coheed and Cambria and Taking Back Sunday are touring together right now. They still have like a month and a half, 2 months worth of tickets. Wifey got me some tickets, and we got to go see them recently. And if you guys don't know, like, Coheed and Cambria is always good. Every single day, every single year. Taking Back Sunday is kind of hit or miss sometimes. They actually have one of their original guitarists back in the lineup, and their singer sounds really good this year. So they're probably the best I've seen them in probably over a decade. So definitely go give them a ring if you haven't seen them. They're awesome. So anyway, Gentile, what's up, Gentile? Yeah, you're right. When you stream Rivian on Twitter, it goes crazy. I've got a crazy update. I can't go into too much specifics, but we'll get there. But anyway, check these guys out if you haven't seen their concerts. It was absolutely phenomenal this year. Literally, I haven't seen them this good in well over 10 years. Albeit Coheed's always good. So anyway, some devastating news. Kind of shocked the world this week, and unfortunately, we need to report on it. But apparently, the World Stone Skipping Championships has been hit by a cheating scandal. It's not doping, but several competitors were disqualified for tampering with the stones to make the stones more circular, which helped them bounce better in the water. So don't always believe in your heroes. They're going to cheat their way to the top, unfortunately. But moving on, what we're really here for, let's look at the charts. And what was a really big thing this week? Well, something we've been talking about for God knows what, 2 years now plus. We've been begging the Federal Reserve to lower rates. Well, guess what, guys? It finally happened this year. Gosh, I don't even remember. I'm wanting to say it's damn near I don't even know the dates. Don't quote me on it. But, dude, it's been a while since they went to zero rates, and they've just been holding zero for a long time. We finally got the cut that the market's been absolutely begging for. The market's been betting on, saying it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. They're going to cut, they're going to cut, they're cut. You've seen Trump complain and bitch about it for nonstop. Cut the rates, cut the rates, cut the rates. Too late, Jerome, etc. Well, our greatest investment prodigy, forget his term with the Chicago Bulls, Scottie Pippen, coming to the aid of Twitter, saying the Federal Reserve just lowered rates. That's the tweet. And he's even using the memes of when he told the story in front of Michael Saylor about how when he met Satoshi Nakamoto in the flesh, which is just crazy. But big thing this week. This is something we've been waiting for a very, very long time. Legit, we have the Federal Reserve cutting rates. And it was either going to happen this year under Jerome, or it damn sure was going to happen next year. Because remember, Jerome Powell is leaving office. I think it's March or May, I don't remember, but it's early 2026-ish time frame. He's going to be stepping down from his job, and they're going to be putting in someone who's going to replace him. And I guarantee whoever Trump nominates is going to be someone who's going to cut rates drastically in alignment with what Trump's wanting. So either way, it was coming. It's just a matter if it was going to come this year or if it was going to come next year. But this is exciting to see. Not necessarily the Scottie Pippen stuff, but that's still one of my favorite gifs. You guys didn't. But anyway, thanks for showing up, guys. Any likes, comments, subscribe goes a long way. So much appreciated. But speaking of rates, though, I absolutely love this tweet. Whether the Fed cuts 25 or 50% basis points, the important thing is to remember that you should panic. Please panic. Make sure. And it happened. Like, people freaked out. People bet on it, whatever. The market's kind of micro Darth Mauled. Is what it is. But lo and behold, our boy Jerome came in and cut the markets. And the market did a little bit of shakeout and then proceeded to print all-time highs. And, of course, the White House was memeing it as well, saying the S&P 500, all-time highs, don't be a panicking. It's kind of crazy time we're at. Remember, this guy said it's a great time to invest at the Pico bottom of the S&P 500 drop. So it's absolutely crazy. And we'll get into the S&P soon. I'm up to like 22 gigabytes of... Hold on. Did I not queue a tab up for this? I'm going to add it real quick. Give me a second. I thought I had. Maybe I did, but I've got so many tabs open right now, it's not even funny. So give me 1 second and I'll load it real quick. Because I can't spill the beans on all the back end stuff. You guys know this. All right, so there we go. All right, so S&P 500. Let me switch this over to dailies. So if you guys don't remember, this is actually when Trump said, great time to invest, and it's proceeded to rally like crazy. So we're all-time highs. This wedge broke. We're way up. I did a very big chunk of exposure around here, and I think I'm right around like 30% on... I'm not going to say how big it is, but it's a very large bag. It's retirement funds, but it's very nice, needless to say. But S&P's going pretty damn crazy. And as always, you see me tweet about it. It's like, just friendly reminder, don't be crazy leveraged going into this stuff. This is the response, this candle here on Jerome's 25 basis point cut, and it whiplashed both directions, cleared out a lot of people. A lot of people got liquidated. Crypto market didn't react negatively as bad on this. Crypto kind of walked up, and then when the Asia session came in, it really took off. But it's pretty interesting to see. But we're going into Q4. Seasonality's at play. Jerome Powell is cutting into this, and we're printing all-time highs. So things are good. Things are looking good. In the meantime, the White House is sitting there memeing about panicking. If you guys didn't know, the president right now is visiting the United Kingdom, and they've been posting all types of memes and stuff about this, but you guys have to check out this dinner they had. It's fantastic. The amount of CEOs at this table hall is ridiculous. So watch this real quick. This is a really cool video. Sam Altman, Blackstone CEO Stephen, ARM CEO Renee, Barclays, Microsoft Satya, Salesforce CEO, all over the place. Tim Cook probably sitting there saying sorry again. Actual NVIDIA CEO not wearing a leather jacket. It's quite impressive. It's a rare look for our NVIDIA guy. Rupert Murdoch. Of course, the royal family. But it's pretty interesting to see that all the CEOs of the world showing up for this dinner party. It's absolutely freaking cool. But moving on. If I'm going too fast, guys, tonight, let me know. I've got so many damn tabs, and I got like 50 minutes to go through all this stuff, so I got to friggin' fly. But if you guys want to stop me at any point, this is what these weekly tutorials - chart aspects, everything we're looking at. It's here to have a good time and try to learn and have fun. So anyway, moving on. A lot of AI guys in that, Sam Altman especially, and I wanted to point this out because I'm starting to hear this from friends who deal with HR and stuff like this too. They'll post a job, and within an hour, they'll have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of resumes hit them. Essentially, it's just AI fighting AI for job postings, and they're literally getting hundreds of qualified people for a single job and have to sit there and tell 99% of them they're not going to make it. But this got posted, and I thought it was pretty interesting, is she's applied to over 2,000 jobs and has not got a job yet. It's absolutely insane. And I'm hearing this like from other people, like talking about the job market and everything else, and it's just literally AI written resumes getting supplied to these job openings, which are being filtered by other AI bots, and it's just a giant slot mess. I don't know where this goes. Maybe it goes back to like handwritten resumes. I don't know. We're going to go way back. But regardless, let's move on. We talked Sam Altman. Let's move forward. Let's talk NVIDIA. Big news this week. NVIDIA is now worth more than Canada. I'm not going to read the context note here because I want to believe. I want to believe it's better. But I want to take a look at NVIDIA for sure, though. So we have seen NVIDIA go absolutely bonkers for a very long time. If it wasn't them powering the Ethereum markets, it then turned to them powering the AI markets. And AI is crushing and needs as much NVIDIA chips as they can get. And they keep producing the best chips in the market. So it's pumping, it's going well. But we were watching a channel here, and it kind of broke to the right. It broke at the right at the same time AMD did as well, albeit I don't see them as direct competitors. I think the other one was, I believe, maybe Microsoft. Either way, it was the one that Mally was posting charts. He exited AMD right when this channel, like the day before the channel broke. But it's not that I'm bearish and saying, hey, NVIDIA is going to do, it's over, right? I'm not saying, we're going back to $10. No. What I am saying is, though, is looking at the charts, it's breaking somewhat of a channel here, and it's printing a daily runner bot top, and it's starting to fade a little bit. Let me draw it a little better, because I don't know what happened, why this isn't as true. I might have drawn this when it wasn't in logarithmic. Always do logarithmic, right? When in doubt, change it to what looks best. And if you're wrong, erase the tweets, right? But it's taken a shift out, and I'm trying to see if it's going to gain support here, walk back up once things cool off, or if it's actually going to get a retest of the bottom. Why do I care so much about the bottom test? Well, basically, if you can catch NVIDIA in those bands, you're talking about like major responses. That's a 41% move. That's a 56% move. You don't see it often. This was August of 2024. This was April of 2025. We're likely not going to see it this year, but I do want to keep an eye on it. It's the same thing when we look at Tesla charts. I don't like messing with Tesla in the middle. I like looking at Tesla when it's at the top, or it's at the blowing out the bottoms, or it's pushing way to the top. Right now, Tesla's actually screaming hot, but that's in the later of the chat when we start talking EVs. What's up, Sean? How are you, dude? So, moving on, but not really moving on. We're going to still stay kind of with the NVIDIA here, right? NVIDIA, the news that shocked the world, NVIDIA announced that they're investing $5 billion into Intel. Intel has been kind of dead for a while. Well, as you can imagine, while Intel's been dead for quite some time and had many issues with their chips, as well as some of their new architecture chips not coming through yet, having delays and stuff like that, it's this news broke through and went crazy. So we've been watching these charts. I think what really sucks is I had a really nice, I did not score this today. I've sold before. I sold this order block. I don't remember if it was here or there. I'd have to go back and look at the position, but I did get out in profit. I bought some of this and I bought some of these wicks here and then got out, but the news hit and overnight it went up like 25%, opened up today, and it had a candle up here. And as you can see, major selling into it. And why wouldn't you? It's a God candle with a gap underneath it, right? So we don't see that in crypto with a gap like that typically, unless it's like CME stuff. But stuff that trades 24/7 doesn't do that normally. But it teleported, and when it opened, it was actually in the pinks. It closed as a purple candle. But a teleportation into this, it's you get green reversion bands, you get all this stuff, these hot colors, like take your profits and stuff. Because overnight, It was 30% jump. It doesn't look like a lot here, right? But that's actually a very big range. What's up, Mally? But yeah, 30% jump. If you actually caught the bottom low here, you're talking about a freaking 70% range. And even if you bought this bottom stuff and didn't DCA lower, you're still looking at like slight, at least break even. But shoot, 5% profit off that range. We'll see what happens. I'd like to think it does some type of retesting and then continues to truck, because NVIDIA coming in is going to be a long-term bullish thing, but we'll have to see. But anyway, glad you guys are here. If you have any questions, let me know. If you guys also do remember, this is where the NVIDIA or Intel CEO bought, was right around here when we have like some of the old TrendSpider streams where we're looking at the insider buys. It was in this range at least. And I don't know if they sold, and I don't remember if Intel got a new CEO or not, because this is when the chips were burning up and people were getting pissed. Rightfully so. If I bought a $200-$300 chip and then my main laptop or whatever, or my main, not that I'm building well, I used to, but old ThinkPads, you could swap the CPUs, but the newer stuff is what has the problems. But if I had a desktop that I was building and spent that much money on a gaming processor and find out it's got defects, I'd be super pissed. But anyway, moving on. If you guys didn't know, there was a Bitcoin establishment opened up for social gatherings, and this was one of the funniest damn pictures I've seen in a long time. A very, very long time ago, I bought a single share of MicroStrategy's, like, shoot. God, I want to say 2006, 7, I think it was 2017, 18, somewhere around there. I could be lying. I don't know. It was a long friggin' time ago. I bought a single share of MicroStrategy's specifically for this situation. If I ever come across Michael Saylor in a social gathering, I could refer to him as a partial owner of MicroStrategy's and talk to him as a peer, right? So these guys are actually it was a Bitcoin, I think it was actually a Bitcoin themed or Bitcoin or a crypto themed bar, but it's the weirdest. It's dressed up like a Bennigan's. They've got fox and raccoon mounts on the sides, golf rackets, and then you got Michael Saylor running around with a tuxedo and a orange tie. It's just kind of weird. But you know, shout out to doing a crypto establishment like that. If you asked me for OPSEC reasons, I wouldn't be going in there and flashing your ledger or your Coinbase One card. I think eventually people are going to start scouting these establishments and following these people homes, and you'll quickly find out, no matter what awesome password and 2FA you got, a lead pipe to the kneecaps, they can quickly unlock any hardware wallet you have at your home. So stay frosty. But moving on, we're talking Saylor. Let's transition into Bitcoin. It's what you guys are here for, right? You're here for the Bitcoin charts. You're here for the bullish sentiment. We're looking at going into Q4 with rate cuts. Let's go. Channel walk, broke, previous range, full send into all-time highs. You guys have seen these charts. We've gone through it, and we're going to focus on this range. Right now, a lot of stuff's played out. This is something we covered in the previous streams, saying, hey, we broke out here. We did all-time highs. What happens next? It's either we go into price discovery or we do some retesting of these critical levels here. And lo and behold, it's been a week or two. We've come down and retest this resistance order block. So now what happens? Why do you do that? Well, you come back and they pump this stuff out. They free up liquidity. Then they come back down, kind of scare some people. And then they retest resistance to make sure it turns into support, right? Once you get that, you pretty much have your basis, your launch pad for your next move up, and then we go into price discovery. It's no secret, seasonality-wise, Bitcoin likes Q4s, especially at this point of the cycle. We are in a 4-year cycle until proven otherwise. I've had some dear friends contact me this week talking about, what do you think about the 4-year cycle giving up again? And it's like, man, I don't want to think about that. One of our newest tools, you can see down here, this is the Coinbase versus Binance Premium. We'll cover the tutorial on that a little bit later tonight, but clear trend here. Coinbase continues to hold the premium. That's bullish. If you see the sell-offs happen when Binance wakes up. Right now, Coinbase is control. Coinbase is doing Coinbase Camp this week. Or just Base Camp, not Coinbase Camp. So stay frosty. We'll see how it goes. It's good stuff, man. We're not screaming crazy colors. We're not in price discovery. We're not hitting this stuff yet. We're setting up the floor to do the move up. But, hey, runner, where are you right? Where are you wrong? There's always there's always three things that can happen. It goes to the right, it goes up, it goes down. Sometimes it goes to the left when we do memes. But it's not rocket science. It's going to go one of three ways. And we need to be prepared. Right now, it looks like we're going to be going up, and that's what we set ourselves up for. We really need to pay attention if we start going deep into this. Not that you can't go through it and still recover up, but it's a very, very clear sign we need to pay attention here. So, we'll see. Another thing, sometimes these things retest, skip rocks. Note my skipping stones are unmodified. But yeah, sometimes it can look like that too, but right now, things are just kind of chilling and grinding up. And now we have kind of the 25 basis points in. Let the markets settle. Let the markets realize what's really going on, and then see what's going on. Frankly, the Asia session after the 25 basis cuts was pretty damn bullish. Was pretty cool to see. Now, you hear me talking about 4-year cycles. I really like stock to flow. It's something I pay attention to a lot, as well as Dime, talking about timings and stuff like that. He times it from the bottoms and all-time highs, stuff like that. Stock to flow is based on the actual halvening dates and how many days since the last halvening, or days until the next halvening, I'm sorry. And previous cycles, you can see, let me refresh this. You can see typically when you get to about 900 days until the next halvening. That can't be right. Hold on. That is right. It goes this way. Sorry. I was thinking the other way. It goes down. So once you get to about 900, we're like tail end of 1,000 right now or whatever. Once you get to about 800 or 900, that typically looks like it's the peak of the all-time highs. Sometimes it happens in the orange. Sometimes it happens later. But really, like, once you start turning slightly green, you're really running out of time. And frankly, we're lagging. We haven't had any parabolic stuff yet. We haven't blown out the mirror multiples and stuff like that. But we're getting kind of towards the end, right? You can see here the all-time highs and the colors. So we have to be cognizant, like, how many people bought at 60 and rode it all the way down to 16,000 and it became exit liquidity, right? You got to chill. You have to pump your brakes. You have to set your plans, because we're looking at potentially selling, trying to exit macro-wise the end of this year, right? Beginning of next year. We'll see. Typically for me, man, if Q4 is sending it, we're hitting mirror multiples, I'm taking note. This is another way to look at it. We're 514 days after the last happening. So instead of looking days till the next, this looks at how many days after. But as you can see, we're only at $115,000. I'm sorry, this is from a day or two ago. We can go to the newest one. Hold on, let's double check. If you don't follow these guys, give these guys a follow. It's really good. They do it for free. So this is 21 hours ago. We'll go look at this one. So it's looking at this as these are the older markets scaled. Obviously, when Bitcoin was newer, the percentages were way crazier, but the prices were lower, right? We're in the opposite now. The prices are higher and it gets lower. The volatility gets lower and lower every time, right? The bigger this thing is, the slower it moves. It's just kind of like how all things are in nature. But you can see here in general, it's the same thing like the stock to flow. This is typically the windows where this stuff goes parabolic and peaks out, and we haven't. We are doing all-time highs, and we are off the map on quite a few metrics, but I'm not willing to talk about the 4-year cycle being dead until it actually happens, because I remember that conversation in 2017. I remember it at the first time we broke 60K. I've heard it so many times, and until it's not a thing, I'm going to be really, really sensitive to it. So anyway, but health-wise, we still have time. It's just not a crazy amount of time. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, moving on. And holy cow, we're 300 plus views. This is insane. Last stream was very low key. I guess we're going to focus more on Rivians and bullish Bitcoin targets, right? Thanks for all the support, as always. But Bitcoin's health. We're looking at timings. We're looking at halvings. Let's also check on the miners. Miners continue to print all-time highs on hash rates. This is healthy. The last thing we want to do is continue to pump price up and watch this start falling off of a cliff. It's something we saw on the $65,000 peak when China banned, like legit banned, not faux banned, crypto. You saw no one was really talking about it because it was really hush hush, but the hash rate fell off the cliff, and Bitcoin kept going up in price for a bit, and then 50% it fell. So we're always going to keep an eyesight on the hash rate. In general, it's not an absolute rule, one-to-one directional, but in general, we want to see miners adding to the network. It means Bitcoin miners are healthy. You may hate miners, you may hate their shenanigans, all this different stuff. I think miners are pretty cool, but in general, we want them healthy, happy, pushing the network along. That's what we always do. Now, the one thing we're going to get into is the Mayer multiple. And why is this so important? Well, back to this. The Fed is cutting interest rates, and Bitcoin is about to enter Q4. Seasonality-wise, Q3 is usually not the best time of year for Bitcoin, but Q4s can be face-melting. If you guys don't remember 2017, it was 10K one week. A few weeks later, it was 20K, and then it started doing the whole free fall. A lot of stuff happens, but in reality, we're about to start potentially setting up for some really, really parabolic moves, and you guys need to be ready for it. So that's why it's important. If you guys don't know, check out our tutorial page. This is the Mayer multiple. I didn't come up with the Mayer multiple, but I came up with how to properly visualize this, and we're going to do a look back into this pretty deep today at the request of one of our favorite guys in the Discord. His request, Mim. So we'll go through and look at this, but go look at the Mayer multiple, go look at the people that made this up, and then you can go check out the tools here and see how it actually works. The reason I say that is the Mayer multiple is really, really cool data, but no one really knew how to visualize it unless you were like really, really nerdy and like read it all out and planned all the math. Well, shocker, I did it so I could actually visualize it because I hated manually calculating it. Well, go read through all this. You can understand what it is, but long story short, this is the Mayer multiple. I'm not going to hide these because I don't want to lose the dates, but it's based on a 200 daily moving average, and as far as standard deviations away from that 200-day moving average. And it's had a track record on Bitcoin that's never been really missed for the most part. I'd say it's never missed a top, to be honest with you guys. Now, this tool will the key things about the Mayer multiple. It's called every top, but it doesn't give you an exact time of when a top is printing. What it will tell you pretty much as of all time with Bitcoin, not that it's going to do this every time in its entire life, but essentially every single bullish run, it has flagged it and said, hey, you're in a bull run that's coming to an end. It could be in 48 hours. It could be in 4 weeks. It could be in 2 months. But the thing is it flags when the bull trend is going absolutely bonkers, and typically a 4-year cycle. And it's really, really good for that. Because a lot of people get into the bull markets where everything's going parabolic, and the biggest thing they forget to do is they forget to take any type of profit. Then they round trip or they FOMO the tops. So this is the Mayer multiple. This is the Rainbow Trends version of it, how you can see it. And I project the standard deviations into, lo and behold, a rainbow, so you can actually see where these layers are. in general, the Mayer multiple math, the people who wrote it, they basically said as long as Bitcoin's below the 2.4 standard deviation, it's worth buying. The one thing I found is once it's touched the 2.0 standard deviation, it has marked end times saying, hey, you're printing the final top. Whether that's in 48 hours or we're going to double price in 2 months, it's just letting you know that you're at the absolute top. So let's take a look back in time. So here's our Bitcoin halvening. This is the current run we're looking at. These are the stock to flow window timeframes plus also some dime timeframes. It's looking like we need to finish this party by the end of the year. If we're looking Q4, 2026 is like right here, which gives us a target of, realistically, if we just barely tag the 2.0, you're talking at like $225,000 per Bitcoin by the end of the year. If it goes. It hasn't yet, but if it does. So let's take a look back real quick. This gets all messed up. I don't know why on the zooming, but this is the 2021 Bitcoin top. And as you can see, it broke through at 26K, ran from January all the way to April, so 3 months. And then it pulled out of the bands, and then that was it. That was the Bitcoin top of 65K. This is the run that happened after the 2017 pump, where we went from $3,000 up to $13,500. This was a situation where the Mayer multiple said, hey, you're above the 2.0, buckle up. And we were only there for like a week or two, right? But it called, and again, you're at a top. 2017, we bumped this and kept bumping this, and we went all the way up to $20,000 in 2017, and then we bled through. And this is the window of kind of how I'm looking at timeframes in regards to happenings. 2017 in particular was insanely parabolic. Pinks were printing all over the place, even on low time frames. And then when you go back to the even more volatile stuff, it went all the way to the top here. Mind you, Bitcoin was $200 at the time, but it's showing you what it can really do. So in general, all these bull runs, and I really consider like 2017 is like when we legit had Coinbase online, right? Binance was online and stuff. This stuff back here, I mean, this is Bitcoin back when it was 8 cents, right? So the volatility's gone down, but even on these bigger runs, when we're talking $1 trillion asset caps, we're still hitting 2.0 on the Mayer multiple, right? So it's what I'm going to use as the basis, especially to check my sentiment. Right now, we're not even printing pink candles. We are at all-time highs, but we're not really. All-time highs really like 125, but we're really looking for that 2.0. And $200,000 sounds like a lot, but really what it could be potentially is us just getting up to like 150 and then having a crazy week where it blips up and then comes back down. So anyway, that's the Mayer multiple. Mim, I hope that answers all your questions. Great questions. Thank you for bringing that up in the Rainbow Trends Discord. But I hope that makes sense. And if not, go watch the tutorial in the Git book. It's got a breakdown of everything, screenshots of the previous tops and bottoms. It's a really, really good tool. You could probably also throw some Pi cycle in there, your stock to flow. Keep a tab on Dime. Keep a tab on Josh Olswick's, and just watch their sentiment and then kind of look at your stuff. But in general, I'm going to be screaming at you guys if we get above 2.0. And I don't think we're there yet, but seasonality-wise, it's looking like we're setting up to where we could actually touch it. So moving on. Love the Mayer multiple. You're welcome, man. September. Let's refresh. Let's see if we get any dates, or see if we get any more data. 163. So we got some inflows. General, I'm just watching inflows to keep general sentiment. Nothing too crazy here that really stands out. For a while, we were getting a lot of Ethereum flows bigger than Bitcoin, and that was something I was keeping tracks of. Let me check Ethereum real quick. Yeah, the Ethereum flows aren't crazy this week. Solana doing anything? Not really. There's going to be a whole more bunch of these now that they're passing some of the new laws and stuff. But anyway, moving on. SEC approves Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund for trading, which includes the following cryptocurrencies: BTC, ETH, XRP, Sol, and Cardano. So one of the big tools I'm going to show you guys in looking at these charts, this is the Coinbase versus Binance Premium indicator. And if you have malware bytes, this now doesn't get flagged by malware bytes, because what I found out is if you make a web page that says Coinbase and Binance on it, malware bytes will flag it as spam or as a malicious. So I had to change this to CB versus bin, and I finally got it through. But in general, this tool shows you, like I said, when Binance is in control versus when Coinbase is in control, and it's really important on these. So I've got it on a lot of these charts instead of the volume tool, so I wanted to bring that up. It's not too many people know about the Git book, so I want to make sure you guys know, because I don't have it integrated into the main website yet, but it's coming soon. The web devs are working on it. So Ethereum right now, man, Ethereum was the talk of the town when the Rainbow dudes in the Discord started saying, hey, this multi-month channel walker is breaking. And it did. Printed a BART and then kept trucking. To date, we had guys longing this area here. It's like $1,800. It's up 160% on Ethereum. If you guys don't remember, like 8 months ago, Ethereum was the most hated freaking asset on Twitter. And we were like, yo. We were actually posting about it in April saying, yo, this is an actual break. We see some shenanigans happening. And lo and behold, Coinbase woke up and took us there. So this tool, this was kind of, we didn't have it released at the time. I had a beta build, and I was like, man, the signal is actually looking good on this. And to date, I still use the shit out of this tool, because right now, for this particular crypto cycle, if we're talking about this 4-year cycle, the bulls are at Coinbase. They do not care when it's time. They are just eating liquidity, and it's time to push stuff up. They push stuff up. In general, though, right now this week, Ethereum hasn't had a crazy bullish response. Frankly, that was a bunch of the stuff with Tom Lee back here. But we are seeing it maintain, and it hasn't come back down here yet. So we've got an order block up here that we need to get through. Let me draw that red. And that's going to be our next area to conquer. Now, if everything else keeps going, we'll see. The one thing I did notice, though, and Pep, shout out Pep. Originally, I was thinking, man, if Ethereum breaks out all-time highs and just keeps trucking, like we're talking a rising tide lifts all boats. Gosh, you're seeing all my old stuff. We tagged an all-time high, then pulled back. So, but the one thing I want to point out is when we did tag that all-time high here, we tagged it twice, printed 2 all-time highs in a short period of time. It didn't rise all the boats. It actually kind of did the opposite. And now it's grinding, and I think we're gonna have to sustain above $5,000 to actually get that end swell to raise everything. Because in my opinion, if the most hated asset's going into price discovery, it's gonna kick and drag everything with it. So we'll see. We talk about it at the round table, bit, but I'm not sure about it being an Adam and Eve. I don't really trade those, to be honest with you. Another one, though, on that list was XRP. I haven't paid too much attention to this because I don't think XRP is going to $500 because it's not possible. But Coinbase continued to hold a premium on it, and we're looking at previous high of $3.50. So I'm just not crazy about it. I'm sorry, but we're going to take a look at it just to make sure. Now, the one thing I am paying attention to is Solana, and I loved that Mr. Pintoshi posted this today. I believe it was today. The goal is 420 on Solana, which I'm all about. Not the meaning behind the number. I'm all about damn near doubling the current price of Solana because that makes mortgages look like nothing, right? So let's take a look at our Solana chart, because this chart has been one of my favorite Rainbow Trends charts because I don't get to see many things on the daily with crypto, and Solana has been playing this over and over and over. It's been playing this order block since February of 2024, last year. right? We're coming up on 2 years of this order block range. And if this is reaccumulation, you know what happens after reaccumulation. You've seen what BNB's doing. Little teaser. We're going to go look at that in a little bit. But take a look at this real quick. Let me grab a drink real quick. Hold on one second. All right. So BNB and Solana doing crazy thing. I think Solana is lagging a little bit. BNB is really getting the attention on crypto Twitter. No one's really talking Solana, which is shocking because Solana is actually doing numbers and no one's talking about it. We're almost back up to this order block of like 265. And as you can see here, this is where you could see real resistance, right? So this is our order block. This is support. This is resistance. I know I'm not trying to talk down to you guys. You guys know the deal, but this is where you can actually see like what whales are doing. They're pushing into this resistance, pushing until they can actually squeeze and get this thing to pop and break through. So many people were selling into this order block of like 211 to 190. And then they finally broke through. And then once they broke through, it gained a lot of momentum. And now it's kind of slowing down right before this one because this is the next one that they're going to have to squeeze through. So maybe the whole market just goes ape and they can just karate chop straight through this. But until then, we kind of have to be chill with it. The other thing is they're also tagging into the Rainbow Revision band. So they can only do so much in those bands. Sorry, I just want to get rid of those markups. Not leave them on the chart because they're a pain to manually do. But we are going to have to get through that. In general, Solana whales don't cut through this reversion band. They can wick it and they can go through it a little bit, but they don't typically cut through it anymore. Those days of Solana are well, I don't want to say gone, but we haven't seen this in a long time. And this is when Solana was running, when nothing else was running, even Ethereum, and like it front ran Bitcoin even. So your alt cycles like lost sync of which goes first. But anyway, same thing here. If you guys want to talk about like support, this is the actual, like, you can see how these tools actually show you support. That's a liquidity wick below it, but you can see them, and there's like a retest. So while we were looking like Bitcoin, looking at like retesting, you can actually see a retest here of Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, Solana. This is them pushing back up through support, retesting it. Now they move back up. So it's kind of just the way these whales flow through charts. It's really weird. They have to knock a bunch of stuff around and kind of see where the walls are. It's like they're navigating a maze blind, but let me know. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but anyway. Moving on, though, this chart looks great. Even if you bought these breakout here through this order block, you're up. Even if you did like the worst execution on the order block, you're up like 17% on a very, very stable asset, on an asset that does really, really good staking returns. So keep that in mind. But moving on. We got a lot to ground to cover, and I've got 15 minutes and probably 50 tabs. So this is probably going to go past 30 minutes or an hour. But SEC has approved generic listing standards that will clear a way for crypto ETFs to launch without going through all this BS every time under the 33 Act. So as long as they have futures on Coinbase, which is currently 12 to 15 coins. So first thing I go look at, because people are talking about it in the Rainbow Trends chat as well, Discord, is AVAX. And this chart looks like it is waking the F up this week. And it's something to keep an eye on. Now, I don't buy pink candles in those reversion bands for a specific reason, because I'm trying not to FOMO. I want to buy white candles in the reds, sell in the pinks, right? Because, shoot. That's a bigger range than you think. That's 124% move right there. Bam to bam. We call that also sometimes the yin-yang trade, but regardless, you would have probably sold on that. But regardless, AVAX is getting a lot of attention. It's something to pay attention. It's getting a lot of volume, especially. That's a huge volume impulse. Very, very big. You don't see cyans grouped up like that on the split volume tool very often. So keep an eye on that one. But moving on. make of it what you will. I'm going to say we've got crime season. And crypto does great in crime season until it doesn't, right? This type of stuff, they're gonna make some of the they're recommending that we don't do quarterly reporting anymore. The Trump family's pushing all this stuff, launching multiple crypto related businesses on Wall Street. Stuff's lining up, my guys. Things are looking good for a Q4 run. I don't know who did this. I got a feeling it's not an official thing for Washington, D.C. To be honest, though, something this crazy could probably be official for Washington, D.C. But in general, if you want to generate a post on Twitter for 500 views and 5,000 likes, you could probably get an Etsy statue made in whatever you want, holding whatever token you want. We could maybe get a vice president one holding up a Millennia token. I don't know, but it just people are building statues to farm engagement, and it's working. I don't know. You guys let me know what your thoughts are, but it looks like someone just 3D printed a statue, put it on Washington, D.C., and people are like, oh my God, look at this, and people start hitting the likes. I'll hit the like. We'll try to get that up to 5K. But speaking of Trump, let's look at the Trump coin. Clearly, in macro accumulation, we need to long the hell out of this. If you can't tell, I'm joking. And remember, this is not financial advice. This is an art stream. But I don't really want to look at this other than I'm not crazy about it. It's at $8. Good luck. This is when they announced you could have dinner with Trump if you were in one of the top wallets, and it went up to $16. It's a great old time. World Liberty Financial, let's take a look at this one. This is the one that Justin Sunstrong is probably going to be labeled a domestic terrorist over. Somehow, Justin got involved with the Trumps doing the World Liberty Financial thing, and he dumped a lot of his tokens allegedly, and then they banned some of his addresses. Maybe the dust will settle one day. I don't know. I doubt you see Justin in the United States anytime soon. I'd imagine they might arrest him for it. I don't know. But regardless, this token completely dumped. Went down to, 15 cents? Somewhat recovered and rallied, but you guys let me know in the chat. I'm personally not super bullish on meme coin, political meme coins, let alone just meme coins in general. But there's some meme coins that are just like PopCat that speak to me. World Liberty Financial, and that's the thing. I don't even think this isn't even meant to be a meme coin. Trump was, Melania was, but World Liberty Financial's it's trading like a meme coin for what it's worth. But anyway, speaking of seriousness, let's talk about Basecamp. Coinbase has rebranded to Base, and they announced that they are beginning to explore a network token. Jesse broke the news this week, and let me translate that for you guys. What's that mean? The lawyers have told us we can launch a network token, and we're trying to figure it out now. So lawyers have greenlit it, and they're going to be launching a network token. Right now, Base is their goal is to onboard the entire world's population on chain. I'm not joking. So however many billions of people that is, I think they've hit 1 million so far. So got a little ways to go, but wish them well. Speaking of Coinbase, let's take a look. It'd be really funny if they relabeled the ticker to Base instead of Coin. Not gonna lie. If you're gonna go all in, let's go all in. And it's just straight up the social network movie, the Facebook. Drop the, it's cleaner, right? They're just it is what it is. I'm rooting for Coinbase, but they just continuously do some of the craziest PR stuff that just makes no sense. And they have such an amazing budget to do amazing PR and fun stuff, and then they just do crazy stuff. Please promote Altcoin Psycho. He does really good stuff. But Coinbase, I've not touched it since this. I'm not going to be touching it again for a while. This is an insanely bullish move. Man, when we were above 350, people were yelling at me to buy more. I'm like, dude, I'm not touching this. And it's pulled back since, but I didn't get an entry on this order block or touch the reversion band, so I'm just going to keep chilling out. And frankly, some of the base stuff is scaring me, but we'll move on. I say we'll move on. We're moving right back into base, guys. So base apparently is giving out tattoos at their base camp, which they're having this week. I can't critique this, but considering I did stream a Say token or Saiyan token, I don't remember which one it was. I'm sorry, 9K. I'm sorry, Moonshot. But I may or may not have helped stream that a crypto tattoo before. But remember, this is an art show, right? This is art. This is not charting. So they were giving out base forever things, and just maybe consider not getting a permanent tattoo about a crypto token. I'm just throwing that out there. With that being said, with Basecamp going crazy, I wanted to check on Miggles, the cat meme coin, which I thought for sure was dead at this point, but apparently they're tweeting out all this Basecamp stuff and showing the cat at the Basecamp rally. Frankly, I don't know how there's not an IP claim on them or a cease and desist from the actual Basecamp company that does all the coding. Not the coding, like the workspace stuff for people to do developments on like websites and stuff. But I digress. But Miggles is not doing the best. Kind of resembles the Bowden chart. Take that for what it's worth. But if you actually want to see like what reversion bands can do, that's machine learning at its best. But we're running out of time. We're gonna move on. So I will make this recommendation: if they don't promote Altcoin Psycho, we need to tap Paul Ryan. This type of guy, we could rebrand with a red hat. Former congressman, legendary guy who tried to fight the deficit, didn't do too well. Now he's a consultant. We could get him to consult for Coinbase. Just think about it. Stacks thought it was hilarious. He understood the reference, but I guarantee you, what did I tell him? Yeah, this will get less than 5 likes. Trust me. We're at 4. We're 4 likes on a Paul Ryan. This crypto demographic does not know who this man was, and it's a shame. You should be sad. But talking of things that that kind of scare me, in general, stablecoins over 5% scare the crap out of me. I think it's usually something you're risking is. I think the risk goes exponentially up past 5% is the easiest way I can say that. But Coinbase is actually offering 11% currently, so I'm actually going to be looking into this and seeing how they're doing it, but it's this is maybe an actual way to get money on your stables if we're looking at a Q4 exit, going major stables and then sitting there and farm 10% while people blow off the tops of this market. Something to consider. Something to consider. But speaking of Fortune 500 companies, if you guys hadn't seen this, it was absolutely insane. Meta did a release of, not a release, they did a press demo of their AI sunglasses, which look like gigantic Ray-Bans. I don't see a use case for this, to be honest with you, because whatever. They had nonstop issues live on their thing, so it was kind of nice not to see a pre-recorded thing, but go watch this. It's absolutely mental seeing what all happened of this, because it wasn't just Mark that had issues. It was multiple people. With that being said, though, I can assure you that Meta's probably hiring. So if you're a developer looking to work on these Ray-Bans, I'm sure a lot of people got fired this week. So looking at Meta, though, I got to be honest, guys, that press was that tech demo was so bad, I was expecting a little bit of a pull down. And we didn't get it. Hey, Fletch. I don't know. I just saw that this week on the Coinbase leveraged lending stuff, so I got to go see where that is, because I think their stables on USDC are still like 4% or something. But yeah, I want to go look into that and degen into it and see if we can hold 10% into 2026. Would be really cool. But Meta not showing any weaknesses. I was expecting a serious pullback on that. We didn't get anything, so it's kind of crazy. But since this bottom peak, like HMA cross, white candles in a reversion band, you know what to do. Bam. 40% into that band, and now if you would have held it through that, you're up 55. So shout out to Meta. Now, moving on. We're talking CEOs. This is still the CEO in my heart of Binance. Same thing with Jesse Powell. Jesse Powell's always going to be the CEO for Kraken in my heart, even if they have a new one technically in place. But the big thing this week, the 4 meme happened. And when I say the 4 meme happened, BNB hit 4 figures this week, which is just insane. And shout out to these dudes, because this was literally $10. Let me see, 2017. What was it? Yeah, it was like $10 way back in the day. Look at it on the daily, not 3-day. We've been looking at this for a while, this one, and you can go shout out Pepe Cinco. We've had multiple discussions where like, man, I think this is Wyckoff reaccumulation and this is a creek jump. Well, yeah, it was, and I will tell you right now, I didn't trade this. I wish I had. I wish we had a lot better access to BNB where I'm at, but this is essentially Wyckoff reaccumulation in a very ugly way. And I just love teaching you guys Wyckoff in hindsight, right? It's the worst. I feel so bad when we talk about this, but we did suspect it for a while, and sure enough, dude, it's gone. It's broken out. It retested, and then it's up 40%, and it's hitting $1,000, which is just crazy. But again, there's another example of a retest before a launch. Breakout, come back, bam. It's what we're hoping we're seeing on Bitcoin right now. We hope Bitcoin's like right here, and it just goes. And that'll take us to 150 on Bitcoin if that happens. So anyway, moving on. Since we're talking about pioneers of the industry, if you guys haven't been watching, this is also related to Binance. Forget Canveth. This is actually Stacks. Stacks is cooking. We've got him in the lab. He's degenning it up right now. Show Stacks some love. He's private, but look up Trader Stacks and send him a follow. And if he try to add him or whatever, oh, here we'll go. Trader Stacks. That's the one. In general, I keep a pulse on Stacks and Pep, and when they are both lit up, excited on degen stuff, I actually start paying attention. The thing that we're paying attention about is Aster. If you guys don't know, apparently CZ has been working on a DEX for years now, and it's going live, and it's this week. I say this week, September 17th. Remind you, it is the 18th today, so within 24 hours, this has gone from 10 cents up to 60 cents and is already a top 100 coin. What is this? What am I talking about? Aster is Coinbase's version of Hype, and you guys need to pay attention. CZ is pushing this. A Hype competitor. Binance tends to be one of the powerhouses of the industry. Will always probably be a powerhouse of the industry. This has probably got some legs to it. It's gone from nothing to a top 100 coin in the matter of no time, and people are FOMOing like crazy to this. And I've been keeping a pulse on Stacks, going in and out and sniffing it around. No pun intended, but he's been feeling it out to seeing if it's scammy, is it legit, are my funds going to get trapped, is this a real Binance, all the things. I don't have the time to do all that due diligence, so I just watch my pup do his thing, and we see where it goes. But pay attention to this. The fact that CZ is talking about Binance level liquidity on a DEX, we're talking bullish. Bullish to the point someone deposited $50,000 onto Aster, realizing they can't buy it with USDC and need USDT, and they completely blew out the USDC to USDT pair on the DEX. So in general, if you're swinging big funds, and when I say big funds, if you're dealing with like really, really questionable liquidity, I consider big funds anything over 5,000. Why do I say that? You could hit the wrong exchange on the wrong book and do a lot of damage on $5,000 and flash wick something, and you take the penalty, not the other guys who buy your wick. So be really careful here. When I'm like trading like crap coins on like Kraken, where there's like 2 people trading them, I feather the money in little blips. Don't do big $50,000 on dexes. Like feather it in, take a few little, throw $5,000, $10,000 at it to see what it does, but definitely just don't do a $50K clip, because someone bought Tether for 91 cents essentially, or USDC at 91 cents here. So that being said, we now have a hype war versus Esther, or I say Esther, Aster, and this is coming from someone who left Binance US. I love that he makes that clarity, because the powerhouse that was Binance US. Hey, anyway, he's not torn at all. He's pro Hyperliquid. Either way, I like both options, but Flood actually posted a banger. It's just like Hyperliquid, except it's Chinese and it doesn't work. So people were having issues with it initially. That's where I was keeping pulse on Stacks. Stacks was going in and out on his opinions, and I think he's more bullish on it. We'll maybe have him show up in the Discord chat in a little bit. That being said, man, if we have a competitor, you have to pay attention to hype chart. If you have something that's deadlier in this environment and it starts taking the market cap away from hype, you can start talking macro tops on projects. It's just the nature of the beast. Whatever's the most competitive and the best for the environment will dominate, and the other stuff will kind of fade off into extinction. Happens in nature, happens with whales chasing food. Just keep ahead of it. But speaking of dying projects, right? But I say dying projects. I think hype's legit, and I think it's going to move forward. But remember, this is an art stream. Don't take that to the bank. That being said, somebody bought a lot of FTT today, and a bunch of people followed SBF's Twitter account. Guys, what are you doing? Don't do this. Don't interact with FTT. Why would you do this? Why is there a God candle on FTT, a dead chain from a dead crypto fund? 50% wick. 50% candle on FTT today. Why? Look at the volume impulse on this. This is a dead coin. I think Caroline is still in possession of like 60+% of this thing. But it happened today. I don't know why, and a bunch of people followed FTT. This is not good. And man, it's already leveled out from the top. It's pulled back 26%. So just be careful. I say be careful. Just avoid dumb stuff. Like, go gamble elsewhere. Anyway, moving on. If you didn't know, MetaMask has confirmed they're coming out with a token themselves very, very soon. And Kobe comes in with a banger. I have spent so much on MetaMask swap fees. They call me lazy, but it turns out I am genius. We'll see where this goes. And then Pep is saying they're going to make him rich. I don't know. We'll see. Watch it be just a lame airdrop on one of the biggest wallets ever. But speaking of the tech, let's talk Pump. If you guys don't know, Pump, the streaming platform, launching all different types of tokens, completely fell off the map and then is now printing all-time highs and is absolutely sending it. Yeah, Pep's hilarious, Gentile. Pump is going absolutely haywire. And with that being said, it's got a lot of attention this week. If you guys missed it, I hope you didn't. Or maybe I hope you did. Someone gave birth to a baby on-chain and launched a token on Pump Fund for it. And this was just a fantastic meme. Me watching the baby being born live on the blockchain. This is exactly what Satoshi Nakamoto envisioned years ago. They gave... It's hard for me to say this because it's reality. And we live in a simulation, I swear. The first baby born on the Solana chain, Alon Jr., coded. This happened. And at the time, over 800 people watched it live. So great numbers. Great numbers. I wish the kid the best, but this is kind of weird. But to be honest, times are tough. You got to do a stunt like this to set up a kid, put him in college. Sure. Now, on the flip side, This individual is live on a treadmill till 100 million. Hashtag runner. I can assure you I'm not associated with this project, but apparently he took a break, went to sleep, and live streamed himself taking a nap with the light on. The market cap on this token, $1.9 million. Does it in there? No, it doesn't. An individual with some health issues launched a token titled 120 Hours. Said he had 120 hours to live, launched a token, ran it for a bit, ran it up to $500,000, and then rugged the project, and then turned off the stream, killed all his socials. So I wish him well. It's what you guys want to play fun, crazy stuff. This is what happens. Next one, we have the oldest. So we had the youngest person ever on stream with a kid being born. On the flip side, we had the oldest person ever recorded on-chain on stream. She was a 101-year-old grandma who live streamed and proceeded to rug the project as well. So grandma rugged you guys. You should feel really bad. This is a $250,000 token. Grandma on Sol. It had potential, but the developers rugged it. I'm sorry, guys. But moving on, I have to bring this up because we talk like crypto's just crazy at times. Don't spend your life savings on grandma. You should be like stacking sats. If you want to gamble, just admit you're gambling. Just don't allocate the funds accordingly. Now, moving on. Doppel is bullish on Say. Let me say that again. Bullish on Say potentially. So I had to get some clarification. What type of Say are we talking about here? Obviously, Doppel's not talking about Say, the fastest crypto chain in the world with parallel EVM. Clearly not. But he is a Rivian, bro. So let's take a look at both of these. Say on crypto's actually doing pretty good here. Damn, I need to set alerts on H4 bottoms for this. That is damn good hit rate. Right now, it's actually doing pretty good. Hopefully, this is reaccumulation after this pump, and we go. Hoping. Now, if Doppel is not talking about crypto, which one is he talking about? He's actually talking about Solaris energy infrastructure, and I'm just being dumb because I like to make fun stuff online for no reason at all. He's actually talking about this chart. In general, energy and infrastructure coming on Doppel, pay attention to it. Results may vary, but there's a lot of volume coming in on this, and I need to pay attention to it. And Rainbow Trends 101, support, resistance. There we go. That's the order block to watch. We'll see. And now we also know the machine learning. We're looking at targets here like below $50. So 36, we break through, maybe get up to 50. We'll see. We'll keep moving on. Now, moving on. Tesla is over $400 overnight. If you guys didn't know, Elon Musk is back in the seat. When I say by that, he bought back into Tesla. He sold the Pico Tops with his brother, and they're long. They're back in. And TrendSpider brought back out this fabulous edit. Shout out Dan Ushman. Shout out the guys. Talking this on stream. Promote the media guy. Also dox him. I want to know who the media guy is that cracks me up. And Dan is adamant he's not going to tell me who it is. So either way, this is awesome. And Tesla itself pushing up. This is amazing. From the Pico bottom here, we talked this trade for 2 months watching this downtrend, right? We talked this, we traded this, boom, right? Beautiful HMA cross, beautiful rainbow rotations, and it proceeded to print. Not that you're going to catch the bottom wick. Results may vary, right? But you're talking about like just to the tip of that was 52%. Now that he's back on that news, it's actually back up to a 100% move. But regardless, you could get like 20% out of that on a major stock with options. You can do a lot of damage. The thing here, though, this was the squeeze in the middle of the mid-range. I don't trade squeezes. That's more of a Malifestro move. I did note we did have a support line here that was coming through, but basically It faded out. It squeezed. I was looking for lower either on some of these order blocks or the actual reversion bands. We didn't get there, so I walked away. Didn't want to put any funds in Tesla. And then lo and behold, Papa Bear showed up. News broke out and went straight up to $400.20. So Elon's magical numbers are showing back up. And now we get to see what happens, right? Sometimes Tesla can push into this stuff and run. Sometimes it pushes into these bands and rolls. Tesla is a very interesting stock. It moves a lot like a crypto project. So we shall see. What's up, Dime? Dime is requesting we look at CoreWeave. I have no idea what that is. CoreWeave. What? This doesn't have a lot of chart data. I don't know. What is this, Dime? This has proceeded to blow out colors and then come back to the bottom. It looks like a freaking Binance launch figuring out liquidity, but CoreWeave. I'd like to know what it is. Let me pull it up on the other screen. CoreWeave. The AI hyperscaler for GPU cloud computing. Okay, we're talking AI. Man, what a friggin' launch. They got their first earnings. This is hard, Dime. This is a ridiculous pump that is pumping into reversion bands. I don't have enough chart data to really do this. I'm going to go down to 30 minutes and just look like dog crap, but because you've basically blown out the machine learning on the top and the bottom, and we have to figure this thing out, but it's not going to respect the colors too well. I mean, it's going from pinks to whites. I mean, it looks like a freaking altcoin. Let me see if time frames help. I mean, obviously the white candles and the pinks, but right now it's hot and I don't want to touch it. But at the same time, the damn thing can rip and hit the cyan band. So I don't know. That's genuinely hard for me to look at. Typically what I say, like with like find your whales, find your colors, I like looking at stuff that has over 24 months of data so I can go see what it does over multiple periods of multiple quarters and get a feel for it. Like I'm really familiar with Litecoin candles, right? And where they go in the bands and stuff like that. I don't have much here other than, my God, this was a run. What's the drawdown on that though? 55% from June? 5 months, 50% drawdown. That's nuts. You bought options on Friday. Hey, you hold the most non-volatile metal asset, then you do option trading. Seek help. All right. I'm going to transition on. We talked electric trucks. We talked Teslas. Guys, it's time we go Rivian. Mr. Gentile really trying to keep this thing going along. I think it's hilarious. I love ChatGPT mods. And I'm going to rock the Rivian PFP for a bit. But on a serious note, I have some very important news. And I can't go into specifics. I might be able to go into specifics at a later time. And maybe I can have the guy come on stream. But may or may not have had a dear friend actually run into the CEO of Rivian. And some of these car memes may or may not have been shown. Also, the pitch for an off-road short wheelbase off-road van with surfboards may or may not have been pitched to the CEO of Rivian. I can actually confirm he saw this, which is really, really interesting because I'm a big fan of their like Amazon vans, and I would love a four-wheel drive version that I could use for like overlanding and stuff. But I also think the stock is bottomed, so like I'm getting really bullish on this. This wedge that we've been watching, this downtrend for so long. What does it mean? It means I'm not dead. It means Rivian's surviving. It means Rivian has a chance to survive this downturn. Now, mind you, the runner bot on dailies is absolutely ridiculous. This is not Photoshop. That's the actual damn tool. It really likes Rivian on the dailies for tops. Bottoms, not so much. You're going to have to go to different time frames. But in general, like, let me pull the machine learning off. It looks like it's surviving. It really does. And if this downtrend breaks, you're talking about an actual Pico low of like sub $20. I say sub 20. Somebody probably got in at 8, but I see something wedging. But at the same time, I see something from a trend from 2022 all the way to 2025 getting tested and potentially rebroken over and over and over again. And eventually it's going to quit getting popped, and eventually it can go. And if you're talking about a reclaim, dude, this is what some of the OGs would call like a half pipe. You're talking 400-ish range to even come back up to these highs. Like I say highs, like top of this stuff. You're talking like 200% moves on an EV company that's now getting like released to sell their commercial vans, which are freaking awesome, to people outside of Amazon. So, we meme it. We actually inadvertently get some messages to the CEO. We're bullish. They're surviving regardless of what Elon thinks about them. I'm really actually interested in this. So, and I may or may not be long. So we'll see. An interesting turn of events, because 2 years ago, I was not thinking this was, I didn't think this was going to make it, to be honest with you. Especially when they were having the issues with their, what's that part of the front suspension called? Not their A-arm, the ball joints. The ball joints were snapping and the wheels were turning, like flopping. Glad they resolved that. But I think we've got an opportunity to get long on something that's like macro bottomed, because this has been pain. And now the whales are finding a bottom and they're wedging into it. And now we could potentially lift off from here. But anyway, moving on. We are 20 minutes past the time limit. You guys know what that means. Give us a comment, a like, a retweet, a subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to grow the channel. But for the rest of the night, we're going to go head out in the Discord and hang out with the OGs, do roundtable. We'll talk Rivian some more, right? You can see us making fun of Rivian here because we're actually bullish, believe it or not. And if you need the link to the actual Discord, it's always at the top of the website on the banner here. Sometimes Discord links are hard to find and they expire. There's a permanent Discord link at the top here that will never expire. So click this and it'll take you to the Discord where we're going to head to in like 2 minutes. So I'll talk to you guys later. Much love. Thanks for everyone who came in tonight. I had a lot of fun, and I will see you guys next Thursday.